class, everybody. We're going to be doing an essential Pilates mat class. If you do the video and you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. So let's go ahead and start with our legs crossed. We'll have the right leg in front. We're going to take the left arm up and over, just anchoring down through the hips, coming right back up. So just give our bodies a little gentle stretch before we get down onto the mat. One more each way. Inhale and exhale. Coming back up. Inhale and exhale. Coming back up. Now from here, we're just going to draw the chin down to the chest and just kind of letting the body round over the legs. You should feel a nice stretch in the back of the neck, down through the middle part of the spine. We're going to come back up, taking the hands behind us. You can lean back on them a little bit, and you're going to lift your heart to the ceiling. And then releasing that, drawing the ribs down, tucking chin to chest, rounding forward. Just let the weight of your head take you down. And then inhaling, coming right back up, lifting your chest. And let's do that one more time. And inhale, lift. Coming back to center, we're just going to bring our left ear to left shoulder. Just kind of pull the shoulders back so they're flat against your back. And then back to center. And same thing on the other side. Back to center. And again, one more time each way, just giving our neck a gentle stretch side to side. Good. And then from here, we're just going to draw the chin down. And then lift up without crunching the back of your neck. So you're thinking about the neck lengthening to lift the chin. And then again, draw down and lift up. One more time and we'll take it into some circles for our neck. So draw the chin down and then we'll go left ear to left shoulder. And again, think about lifting up to go to the other side. And then draw down again, just nice and slow so we feel that stretch through our neck into the tops of the shoulders. Let's lift our head to center, go to the other side. So we'll go ahead and go up and over to the right, draw down. To the left, lift up to go to the other side 2 more times. Nice and slow. And one more time. And back to center, taking the right arm high. We're going to go up and over onto the forearm. It's okay if your forearm doesn't touch all the way. You do want to try to keep this hip down so you don't have to bend the elbow all the way. We can keep it slightly above the mat. We're going to take the arm behind us, just a little circle on the ceiling with the arm. So we're still staying in that side bend. You can think about your circle starting and emanating from where the shoulder meets the collarbone. Let's just do one more there. And we're going to bring the arm overhead and come back up to center. Let's do the other side, lifting the left arm up and over. And again, you don't have to bring the right forearm onto the mat if it takes this hip up. So the most important part is to keep this hip down. And then we'll take the left arm behind us. Again, you just want the circle to emanate from about right here, where the shoulder meets the collarbone. I'm keeping my spine straight, looking forward, just allowing that shoulder to rotate in the shoulder joint. One more time. And then we'll come all the way back up. All right, let's go ahead and lie down on our mat. Now we have our bodies a little bit warmed up. And we're going to do a quick little body check. Feet and knees hip width apart. So if you made 2 fists, put it between your feet and your knees. That's an easy way to judge hip width. We want to balance that imaginary teacup on top of our pelvis to stay in neutral. So you want the pubic bone and hip bones parallel to each other. You can also make a triangle over your pelvis with your middle fingers on the pubic bone and the base of your palms on your hip bones. You just want to make sure all 3 of those bones are parallel to the floor. That's going to be your neutral where that teacup is balanced. You'll feel a little space behind the low back and the mat. Bringing your awareness to the ribs, you do want to melt those down so you feel the back part of your ribs come in contact with the mat. without losing that neutral placement. Once you feel comfortable, we'll bring our arms down to the side of the body and allow the shoulder blades to rest flat against the mat. Getting into our Pilates breath, we'll inhale through our nose. Exhale through slightly pursed lips. Inhale through the nose. As you exhale, I want you to imagine the hip bones narrowing in the front of the pelvis and the ribs kind of drawing together. So you start to feel that braced feeling through the core of your body. Try to maintain that. Take another deep breath in through the nose. Exhale. Now the way that we can maintain that braced feeling is that as we inhale, we breathe in through the rib cage. So on this one, feel how the ribs expand, sides, back, and front. And exhale, the ribs will draw down together and we maintain that braced feeling through our core. You might even feel a little go to work through your low back just because those muscles are working to keep you in neutral. Let's go ahead and take the arms overhead, keeping that braced feeling through the core. On an inhale, we'll take our right arm up over our head and exhale, bring it back up to the ceiling. We're going to alternate sides. Inhale left and exhale up. Now, as you're doing this, because we want the ribs to be melting down, especially on the side of the arm that's reaching up. So imagine the right rib drawing down a little deeper as your right arm goes overhead, and then the same thing on the left. So there's really no movement in our spine or pelvis. Inhaling and exhaling one more time each way. Now we're going to go ahead and take both arms overhead, add a little circle out to the side, and back up. It's kind of like that same little circle we did in a side bend. Imagine your circle emanating right from where your shoulder meets the collarbone. And we're resisting our ribs lifting and our shoulder blades coming off the mat. So you are going to feel some work through your core as you do the movement. 2 more times. Inhaling for half the circle, exhaling for the other half. Let's just reverse directions for 4. Inhaling and exhaling. 3, and just focus on maintaining that placement through the body. 2, 1. We're going to lower the arms all the way down to our side and start to march through the feet. So just shifting where we're moving from, but we want that same concentration through our core so our body doesn't move as we pick up one foot at a time. Start to bring the knees up a little bit higher into a tabletop. So we're getting more range of motion through the hip joint. You can exhale, lift, inhale, place down. We're really focusing on disassociating that movement of the leg through the hip joint. So the pelvis and hips stay still. 1 more each way, right and left. Now we're going to take the right leg up. We're going to reach it out, maintaining that balanced teacup. Pull the knee back to tabletop and then put the foot down. Same thing on the left, tabletop, reach it out, bring it in, put it down. So we want to be careful as we reach the weight of the leg out that we don't tip that teacup away from us. And then same thing on the left. We're going to do 2 more each way. And start to really reach through your legs. You're imagining hitting a bullseye with the toes to get this wonderful stretch and lengthening through the leg. 1 more each way. 1 more on the left. Very nice job. So that'll feel good because you get that nice work through the legs. Hip joints are getting a little bit more warmed up. So from here, we're going to go into imprint and neutral. So just practice tipping that teacup towards your belly button and then away. If you notice in my body, if you can see clearly through the video, my shoulders and my ribs and my chest, my torso stays the same. Nothing happens up here. I'm staying pretty relaxed through there. My movement is coming because I'm engaging my low abs to create that imprint of my low spine. Let's do one more. We're going to hold our imprint. So even when you're in imprint, we're still driving the ribs back and down. So now the whole part of your spine is against the mat. We're going to bring both legs to tabletop. Connect them, and let's start with our toe taps one at a time. So you can inhale, tap, exhale up. Try to keep your knee at that 90-degree angle and allow the hip to open. And if you're losing your imprint or you're starting to get tension in your neck and shoulders, you don't actually have to touch the floor with your toes. So just go as far as you can without getting any tension in the neck and without arching the spine off the mat. So I'm kind of modifying my range, going a little bit less so you can see what that looks like. And let's do 4 more total, so 2 more each side. One more each way. And we're going to rest. Allow your pelvis to go to neutral so you release that stretch in the lumbar spine. We'll give our hip flexors and our low abs a little bit of break. That's where you're going to feel that one. Now from here, we're going to try to stay in neutral. So it's a little different. So keep that pelvis, or keep your teacup balance, keep your pelvis in neutral. And we're going to bring the legs to tabletop again. Now, I want you to just feel that difference in your body. A lot of times when you're staying in neutral and you pick your legs up to tabletop, your ribs automatically want to lift. So really make sure the ribs are drawn down. You're going to feel like you're narrowing your hip bones here to maintain neutral. Now, without allowing our hips to shift or our teacup to tip side to side, we're going to take our right knee out to the side, only as far as you can keep pulling your left rib and hip onto the floor. And then we're going to exhale, bring that leg back to center. Same thing on the left, the knee goes out to the side, so knee and ankle together. And as we do that, we're only going as far as we can keep the right rib and hip back onto the mat. We're going to keep alternating side to side. Inhale, exhale. So as we take our leg away from our body to the side, the opposite obliques are working. Also, make sure the leg that's staying doesn't start to go out to the side to counter the weight. You want to be using your core and the inner part of your thighs. We're going to do 2 more each way, so 4 more. One more. Beautiful job, you guys. Let's place our feet on the mat. Bring your feet in a little closer to your body. And we're going to press our hips up right into a bridge. I want you to focus on squeezing your glutes as hard as you can at the top. And then we'll soften through our heart and roll down bone by bone, just to kind of release any tension in the hips and the low back. Let's do that 3 more times. Imprint, we'll roll up this time. Squeeze your glutes as hard as you can. Make sure your ribs are still down. And then soften and roll down bone by bone. Just make sure your feet stay flat on the mat. 2 more. Allow your head to lengthen away, especially as you're rolling down. Keeping the shoulder blades on the mat as you're rolling down. 1 more time. Squeeze as hard as you can. This one, we're going to take our arms overhead and hang out just for a moment. And then we'll keep the arms there as we roll down bone by bone. So we get this wonderful release through our shoulders and our mid-back. When your tailbone touches the mat and finds neutral, just bring your arms up to reaching the fingertips up to the ceiling. And we're going to imprint the low spine again and bring our legs back to tabletop, connecting them together. So we're going to do opposites. The right leg is going to reach out as the left arm reaches overhead. And you're really working through that right oblique and left upper part of the core, upper part of your abs, to keep the ribs down and keep the spine from arching off the mat. Let's do that on the other side, right arm, left leg. You'll feel your body shake because you're trying to deepen and hold your whole spine against the mat. And again, inhale, exhale, inhale. So just keep switching and using your breath, taking deep breaths in and out. I'm really starting to feel my core now. Let's do one more each way. Last one. And rest your feet. I love that one. It is definitely complicated if you haven't done it before, just to get that opposition going and then keep the opposite arm and leg still. So we're going to place our feet on the mat. We're going to go back to our neutral placement to release the stretch. And let's practice our ab preps in neutral, and then we'll practice them in imprint, legs, and tabletop. So the most important part of our ab prep is always drawing the chin down. So let's just recap it. Place your fist right underneath your chest. And as you draw your chin down, you're just pinching your fist between your chin and your chest. That's it. And then we lift and release it. And again, draw down. So it's like a little nod, like if you're to nod yes. Once you get comfortable there, you can remove your fist and just bring your hand back onto the floor and just try it without. So it's just a tiny drawing down of the chin. So we're going to use our upper abs now to actually curl up. So we're going to draw the chin down, which puts the head in the right place in order for your neck muscles to lift the weight of it. And we're going to use our upper abs to draw down to the hips, which lifts the head and shoulders off the mat. In your ab prep, your arms come slightly above your body, reaching your fingertips away towards the bottom of your mat or past your legs. And you're maintaining neutral for this set. Just make sure you have that. So you can curl a little deeper by drawing those ribs down more. And then as we lower back down, the arms go down. And again, draw chin to chest. And then use your upper abs to curl up. Let's exhale. Inhale, lower back down. And because we're staying in neutral, when you curl up, when you really deepen that curl, it's going to feel like your hip bones are narrowing because you're trying to keep from going into imprint. One more time, draw chin to chest, exhale, curl. Inhale, lower down. Because we're staying in neutral, those lumbar extensors are working, so you are going to feel some work in your low back. It shouldn't feel painful, it should just feel like those muscles are maybe fatiguing or that they're working. So we're going to imprint now, give those muscles a stretch. Bring our legs to tabletop, connect the legs. If you have a hard time holding your legs up, go ahead and cross the ankles here. Makes it a little easier to hold the legs up. We're going to practice our ab preps here. So draw chin to chest and then use your upper abs to curl up. It will feel like you can come up more because you're in imprint. Arms still come up above the body. Now the tricky part is as you lower down, you want to keep engaging through the lower part of your abs to hold your imprint. And let's do that 4 more times. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lower. When I curl up on these, I really like to focus on seeing my belly button draw to my spine. So my belly just kind of goes down just a little bit. It's not a huge movement. But when I do that, I just feel that deepened contraction through my core. 2 more. Woo, 1 more time. And we're going to rest. Find neutral so that you're taking your lumbar spine out of the stretch. Just kind of release it a little bit. Feel free to put your hands on your hips and just kind of drawing one hip down at a time, just to lengthen the low back on each side. And then finding where both hips are in alignment. And then we're going to practice our 100. So a quick recap on our breathing. It's a pulsing breath through the nose and a pulsing breath through slightly pursed lips. And what we're going to do is we're going to match the pulsing with the downward movement of our arms. So as your arms go down, 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 you'll be going in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 3, 4, 5. So it'll be in, out, 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 out. So we're just going to go ahead and do it. If you're at home, you can practice it, and it'll be easier the more and more that you practice it. So we're going to practice in imprint, bring our legs back to tabletop. Because this is an essential video, I'm going to keep my legs in tabletop. If you want to make these harder at home, feel free to extend your legs for your 100s, which deepens the weight, is heavier, so it deepens the work through your core. Drop chin to chest, we're going to curl up. And again, just like we did in our ab preps, actually see your belly button sink down during your exhales. Deep breath in and out. And let's begin. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Remember, on your inhales, you're breathing into the rib cage. On your exhales, you're deepening that contraction to your core. 50. 70. 80. Last 10. 100, and rest. Just give your knees a little hug in. Let's roll our head side to side. It's a long time to hold our head up. Bringing our head to center, roll the body side to side. Couple deep breaths in and out. Coming back to center, we're going to bring our arms to the side of the body. Find your imprint here and just lift the knees and feet so you're back in your tabletop. We're going to take one leg out at a time. Imagine hitting a bullseye with the toes. And you're going to deepen your imprint when you send your leg out. Resist any tension in the shoulders, so make sure the shoulders stay back. You should be looking straight up to the ceiling, not back. So again, keep the chest wide. And let's go ahead and start to put it together. So as one leg is bending, the other leg is straightening for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to rest our feet on the mat and go back to your neutral. Bring your feet in just a little bit towards your body. We're going to imprint the low spine and roll up into a bridge. Squeeze your glutes as hard as you can at the top. And then soften and roll down bone by bone. Finding neutral at the bottom. Let's do that again. Imprint rolling up. Hold at the top. Squeeze your glutes. Make sure your feet are planted on the floor and that you do have weight on the large ball of the toe. 2 more times. Imprint rolling up. Keep those toes down. Squeeze your glutes as hard as you can. And soften and roll down bone by bone. One more time. We're going to hold this one up. Keep squeezing the glutes. Melt the ribs down. Resist your hips dropping. And we're going to bring our right leg to tabletop, put it down. Left leg to tabletop, put it down. So the tricky part is as you put your foot down, you want to resist the hip dropping. Try to get your heel down before you lift your other leg. That way your hamstrings or calves don't cramp. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Last one. And soften, roll down bone by bone. Keep those shoulder blades against the mat. Inhale, prepare at the bottom, finding your neutral. Exhale, imprint, roll back up into your bridge. Melt the ribs down, really squeeze your glutes. We're gonna make it a little harder. So right leg comes up, we reach it up, bend the knee, place it down. Keep that hip lifted, left leg. Reach it up, give that leg a little stretch. Keep the hip up as you place the foot down, right leg, reach. So feel a nice stretch in the back of the leg, left leg, stretch. One more each way, everybody. Keep those ribs down. Nice stretch. One more time. We're going to take our arms overhead. Lift your hips a little higher. Just hang out for a moment. Squeeze your glutes. Soften and roll down bone by bone. Oh, that feels so good. Take the arms out to the side, palms facing up, legs as wide as your mat. Just open up your feet to the outsides of your mat. We're going to let our knees fall to one side. Feel free to look at the back hand. Just a gentle twist through our spine and our hip. We're going to bring our legs to the other side as you turn your head to the other side. One more each way. And last one. And we're going to go ahead and roll all the way onto our left side. Bottom knee is going to be bent. We're going to create what we call a mouse house in Pilates. So it's just, that means a little lift through the natural part of your waist so that a little mouse could run through. That way we're not collapsing our spine like so. We're lifting up so that the spine is straight. Our top leg, we're going to lift it, keep it facing forward, flex the foot, and lower it back down. And again, point, lift it up, flex, lower it down. You just want to maintain that mouse house as you're lifting and lowering the leg. You don't want it to change. So you don't want it to collapse when you lift your leg. You don't want it to lift higher as you lower the leg. Feel free to take your top hand on your hip if you feel comfortable with your balance. And we're going to do 5 more. And 4, exhale, inhale, 3, 2, so you start to feel some work on the outside of the hip, and 1 more time. We're going to point the toe, lift the leg, really work on stabilizing the hips. I want you to give me little circles about as big as a tennis ball. 3, 4, try not to move the hips, 5, reverse, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the leg, take a quick break. Bring your top hand down just to give you a little bit of stability to act like a kickstand. We're going to lift that leg back up again, flex the foot, bend the knee, pull your knee into tabletop without collapsing your mouse house. Point the toe, just reach it straight down. And if you want, you can add a little reach back. Just make sure you don't tip this hip forward. Flex, pull it in. Point, reach it down. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. 6 more times here. 4, 3, so working the outside of the hip. 2 more. And last one. We're going to bend both knees, bringing the knees together. If you're at home, feel free to lift your feet in clamshell. It makes it harder. Since this is essential, I'm going to keep my feet down. Keep your mouse house. We're going to turn our top knee up and back down. And let's go ahead and place our hand back on our hip. And I want you to make sure that this hip does not roll back when you lift your knee. Exhaling and inhaling 6 more times. 5, 4, 3, 2 more. Now knee and ankle together, we're going to lift and lower 10 times. 9, last one, 8, 7, take breaks if you need to, 6, 5, 4, 3, keep your mouse house, 1 more time. Ooh, that's a lot of work on the hips, so we're just gonna bring that top leg down in front. If you want, you can use your fist and just kind of punch out around the muscles surrounding the greater trochanter, just to give them a little release. And then we're going to push ourselves all the way up. Open up the legs so that your left foot is in front of your right knee. And let's just take a gentle stretch over our legs so we open up where we were holding our mouse house. And coming back up, swing your legs to the other side. So bottom knee is going to be bent. Find that mouse house. Top hand, we're going to place it on the hip just to make sure the hips stay stacked. Shoulders, you also want those stacked. Top leg, we're going to point it, lift it, keeping it in parallel. So keep your toe looking forward and knee, flex the foot, lower. Point, exhale, lift, flex, inhale, lower. So remember your mouse house, you want to keep it the same when you're lowering and lifting the leg. You don't want it to collapse as you lift, and you don't want it to open more as you lower. And what that does is it keeps our spine and our pelvis still. We're just working from the hip joint itself. So we're disassociating the movement of the leg from the hips again. 4 more times. 3, 2, start to feel that burn a little bit, so take breaks when you need to. 1 more time. We're going to point the toe, lift the leg, and just start to give me little circles about as big as a tennis ball. Really make sure this top hip doesn't move. If you need a little help with balance, bring your top hand onto the floor. Reverse. 4, 3, 2, 1. So for the next one, we are going to bring our hand down. If it isn't already, you're going to flex your foot, bend your knee to tabletop. You can touch the knee to the elbow if you want. Point the toe, reach it down. And you can go a little bit back. Just stay in parallel today and make sure that hip doesn't roll forward. Flex, bend, point, reach down. Exhale and inhale. And our mouse house, again, is staying the same. So starting to feel that really deep burn in the side of the hip here. Again, take breaks if you need to. We have 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Good job. Bend both knees. It's essential, so I'm going to keep my feet down, but feel free to lift your feet for your clamshells if you're at home to make it more challenging. Top hand is going to go on our hip. We're going to make sure this hip doesn't roll back. And let's start our clamshells for 10. 9. If you start to feel this hip roll back, just don't go so high. And make sure that that hip, you're almost like keeping it forward or pulling it forward. That's what you're feeling in here with your obliques when your knee lifts up. 5 more times. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more time. Now knee and ankle together, they're going to lift and lower for 10. We're going to keep our hand on the hip, make sure that hip stays still. Last one here, and then we're going to take a nice gentle stretch. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently just bring that knee down. And then you can use your fist to punch out the muscles surrounding the greater trochanter, which is that bony part on the side of your hip. And then we're going to push ourselves up, separating the foot so that your right foot is in front of your left knee. And we'll take a stretch over the legs just to open up where we were holding our mouse house. We're going to cartwheel the hands down onto the ground as we turn our body towards the floor, extending the legs back. We're going to make a pillow with our hands and rest our forehead on that pillow. Now the toes and knees, I want them in parallel, legs hip width, keeping the tops of the feet on the floor. So if you're standing and you look down, excuse me, that's what I consider the tops of your feet. We're going to straighten the knees, keeping the tops of the feet on the ground. Lengthen the tailbone to the heels so you almost feel like you're pushing your pelvis into the floor. And you'll feel like the suction cup action through your belly button, like it's trying to pull away from the floor. Keeping that, we're just going to lift the head and the shoulders, or head and chest. Really deepen through that suction cup action through the belly button, and we're going to pick the pillow up to meet our forehead. So the arms and the pillow are coming up, The tops of the feet stay on the mat the whole time. And we're going to lower everything down. Let's do that again. Head and chest lift. Lengthen and lift that suction cup a little bit deeper through the belly button. Pick your hands up to your forehead. Keep the tops of the feet on the floor. And lower down. Now we're going to lift up together. So pillow, arms, chest, head, and lift, inhale. Exhale, lower. Lift, inhale. So this is kind of hard sometimes because we're inhaling as we come up. And a lot of times that wants to make us push our belly out. So you still want to focus on suction cupping your belly button away from the mat as you take that inhale and lift. So what's going to happen is it'll feel like your spine is getting longer in order to lift. One more time here. And lower back down. We're going to press ourselves into a gentle shell stretch. Hands at the side of the body, resting the top of the forehead on the mat, just to bring our spine into flexion to counteract the extension. One more deep breath in and out. And then we're going to come back onto our stomach. Make that pillow again, rest your forehead on it. Now again, tops of the feet are going to stay on the floor. We're going to lift our knees, lengthen the tailbone, get that suction cup action through the belly button. And we're going to again lift the head and the chest, and then lift the pillow to your head. We're going to slide the fingertips to the tops of our shoulders and pinch the shoulder blades together and the elbows back. Keep pulling the belly up and away from the mat. And I want you to do just little pulses up to the ceiling. Remember, the tops of the feet stay on the mat. And as we're lifting higher, your belly button is actually lifting higher away from the mat. It feels like it's lifting away. So again, it's going back to that suction cup feeling through the belly button and the floor. One more time. And then we're going to lower down, release our arms to our side, turn your head to one side, and just rest the body on the floor. We're going to now lift everything up. So on your inhale, we're going to start to lift our chest, pull the shoulders back, lift the arms, turn the head to center, lift the belly, lift the legs. On your exhale, we're going to lower down, turning our head to the other side. And just rest for a moment, and let's do that again. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the head, turn the head to center, pull the shoulders back, lift the arms, lift the legs. Belly, remember, is pulling up, and lower all the way down. Now let's push ourselves into a shell stretch again after that. So nice deep full spinal extension there. Let's just do a couple deep breaths in and out to counteract the extension. One more deep breath in and out. And then we're going to go ahead and come up and go into a quadruped position. So that means on our hands and knees. You want your sit bones feeling like they're looking straight back, not up or down. So your spine is going to be your tabletop here. You want it to feel like it's nice and straight. Shoulders are back and down, and we're keeping our hands right underneath the shoulders. Spread the fingers wide and press more into the knuckles of your fingers instead of your wrists. We're going to start to pick up one arm at a time. And as we do this, we want to resist any shifting in our hips. So if you imagine that teacup right on top of your tailbone or on top of your sacrum, you're going to resist your tea spilling. So you're going to keep that teacup balanced. Let's do a couple more. Last one, right and then left. All right, now we're going to do kind of a similar thing with the legs. So again, imagine that teacup right on your sacrum right here. We're going to take our right leg and slide it back without spilling your tea. Just give that leg a gentle lift up, lower the foot back down, slide it in. Now when you transfer your weight back to both legs, there should be no shifting in your hips. And then we're going to slide the left leg out, lift it up, keep your tea balanced, bring it down, pull it back in. So the hips really are trying to stay very still. And again, it's that same thing we've been working on, that disassociation of the movement in the hip from, or in the hip joint from the hips themselves. Just nice and easy one more time. I think focusing on that teacup really helps keep you balanced so that you're not moving. And we're going to slide the right leg back, and then at the same time, you're going to pick the right leg up and the left arm, and we're going to find a little balance. Really try hard to keep that teacup balanced. Resist the tendency for that right hip to lift up, so keep it facing down so your teacup doesn't tip. And then bring the hand and the knee right back down. Again, we're going to slide the left leg out. So the top of the foot's on the mat. Now at the same time, lift the leg and the right arm. Just find a balance. And then bring it back down. Let's do that one more time each way. Right leg slides out. At the same time, the leg lifts and the left arm lifts. Find your balance. Bring the hand and the knee down. And one more time, left leg reaches out. At the same time, leg lifts and right arm lifts. Find your balance. And then gently come down. We're going to curl the toes under. And we're going to hold our knee hovers or mother hovers for 30 seconds. So shoulders down. Keep your teacup balance. Just pick your knees up into a little hover and begin 30 seconds. Hold and keep breathing. So you'll start to feel some quad work. Make sure your knees are hip width apart. You have even weight on your knees. We have 10 more seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, gently bring the knees down. Let's go feet together, knees wide, and sit back in a very nice flat back child's pose just to release the wrists and the shoulders and the hips. Couple deep breaths in and out here. All right, we're going to make our mother hovers a little bit harder by adding a march. So we'll do this again for 30 seconds. Take breaks when you need to. And I'll say it again when we're doing it, but just try to put your feet down gently. That way you're not slamming your toes down so your knees will like you later. So find your tabletop position, and we're going to lift our knees, and then you're just going to lift one foot at a time. It's a very small lift. So if you look at me, I think I'm maybe lifting my foot off 1 inch from the floor. And again, just nice and slow so that you're putting your feet down gently. Try not to slam your toes down. 15 more seconds. We're trying to keep that teacup balanced. This one's a tough one. 5 seconds, everybody. We're almost done. 3, 2, 1. Gently bring your knees down again. Feet together, knees wide, and let's sit back in that child's pose stretch again to give our shoulders a release and also our wrists a release. Couple more deep breaths in and out. All right, we are going to come back into our quadruped. This time we're going to walk our hands out about 12 inches. Bring your hips forward. So we're opening the front of the hip. And then just double check, make sure your hands are right underneath your shoulders if they're not too far out in front of you. Shoulders back and down. I want you to anchor into that right leg. You're going to pick your right hand up and touch your left shoulder. And we're going to do the same thing on the left. The left knee, we're going to anchor into that leg. You're going to pick your left hand up, touch your right shoulder. So when you pick your hand up, you're going to feel all this work through your oblique into the hip. Your body will move a little bit side to side. Just try to make it as small as you possibly can. And we're resisting the hip tipping this way or opening as you lift your arm. So that's why we got to press into the knee keep that hip facing forward. Let's do one more right and then left. And rest. That's a tough one. So again, we'll go knees apart, feet together, and back into our flat back child's pose. All right, the last one that we're going to practice is our push-ups, but we'll be on the knees today because it's an essential video. Feel free to come into a full plank when we're doing our push-ups. We will do our Pilates push-ups, so I'll be counting a 3 count down and a 3 count up. When you're doing your push-ups, just watch real fast. If I'm counting, try not to pause on each number. It's actually a controlled down and an up. So you're never pausing on each number. So we're going to get into that same position, arms out about 12 inches. Bring your hips forward. We're going to cross the ankles if we're staying on our knees and lift our feet. Remember, for your push-ups, your arms go slightly back. So they're kind of between all the way out to the side and at your body. They're slightly looking back. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, up, 2, 1. Just go down as far as you know you can go. Push yourself back up and up, 2, 1, and 3, 2, 1, and up. Shoulders will feel like they're staying flat against your back. 3, 2, 1, and up. Keep your head back. Keep your belly lifted. 2 more times. Up. 2, 3. One more time. 2, 3, and up. 2, 3. We're going to open the feet. Knees should be a little bit wider, so you can open them up a little bit more. And rest back in that child's pose stretch. Deep breath in and out. And just restack the spine here. Now our last exercise today, and then we're going to do some gentle, well, actually we might do a little bit of side work. So scratch that last exercise statement. We'll do probably one more on each side after this. But the next one we're going to do is we're going to hold a plank. So you could do it on your hands. It does make it a little easier for your core. I'm going to do mine on my forearms today just to give my wrists a break. Being on your forearms makes it harder for your core because you're closer to the floor and you're just more parallel to it. So just keep that in mind since you're at home. If you feel any tension in your low back, just take a break and don't feel like you have to do the full minute. So let's begin. Choose where you'd like to go be and begin. 1 full minute. Just keep breathing. Your legs can be hip width apart or together. Make sure the hips aren't lifted. You do want your body parallel to the floor. Shoulders down, belly and head stays lifted just like our push-ups. Keep holding, keep breathing. Halfway there. Again, just taking breaks when you need to. Maybe shifting back into the heels so you feel a stretch in the back of your leg. Planks are so good for you because they just really strengthen the core, they strengthen the body. Everything is working. We're just holding isometrically through the body to build strength and stability. All right, you guys, we got 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, gently bring your knees down. And let's rest in our flat back child's pose with the arms out so our shoulders get a nice stretch. Deep breath in and out. And just restack the spine here. So before we stretch, let's come on to our left hip with our legs stacked to the side. We're going to be on the hand again. We're going to do a little bit of side planking, but on the knees today. So keeping the feet and the knees stacked. Keep this shoulder back. You want to resist it rolling forward like that. We're going to take our right hand and just let it rest on the right thigh, or sorry, the right calf. On your inhale, push your hips up and forward and just take the right arm high. So focus on the hips going forward and then slowly back and down. And this is where it gets tough underneath here. You got to keep pushing down in order to engage here so the shoulder doesn't come up. Let's do that again. Inhale, think about the hips pushing forward. Exhale, slowly come down. My feet do stay on the floor, though when I come up, I will feel more weight in my knees than my feet. As I go down, it's more even. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Let's go to the other side. We'll stretch out our sides in a moment. So just get yourself in the right position. Legs and feet stacked, hips stacked, shoulders stacked. This shoulder's gonna stay back, top hand on top of the side of your calf. Inhale, push the hips forward, arm goes high. Exhale, hips gently go back and down. So that's where all this work comes in, is when we're coming down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. So what we're doing is trying to get our spine straight as we come up and the hips open. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Let's go ahead and cross the legs. We will have the right leg in front like we started with today. And let's take the left arm up and over, and we'll give our side body a nice stretch. Coming all the way back up, right arm up and over. It's a nice side stretch, opening up those sides we were just working. Coming back up. Let's do that one more time each way here. So you'll probably feel your body releasing deeper into that side bend on the second set. So we're gonna stay over to the left. We're gonna start to rotate over our left leg, bringing our right hand onto the floor. I just want you to let the weight of your head take you down. So now we're feeling this nice stretch in the lower part of the spine into the hip on the right side. Try to release any gripping in your hips and your legs as you're taking your stretch. And as your body releases deeper into that stretch, just breathe. We're going to stay on our little twist here and restack the spine. So again, we're getting that nice stretch through the right side of the spine and now into the neck. And come back to center. It just feels so good. Let's switch our legs. And then we're going to take the right arm up and over. So let the side body open. Left arm up and over. And we're going to rotate down, bringing our left hand onto the floor, letting the weight of our head deepen our stretch. Try to relax any gripping in your hips and your legs. You might get to a point where your head just touches the knee and it stays there. Feeling that deep stretch in the low back on the left, into the hip. We're going to slowly restack on this twist so you're feeling that stretch as you restack through the left side of the spine and into the neck. And then we're going to come to center, extend the legs out, and then just take the left leg and bend it in like a figure four. We're going to point the right toes, so just reach them long. Take the arms high. We're going to do a forward fold over that leg. Try to keep your spine straight so that you feel a stretch more in the back of your leg instead of your spine now. Let's try flexing our foot so we start to feel that stretch in the lower part of the leg. Deep breath in and out. Let the weight of your head take you down. And we're going to restack our spine here. And we're going to take the other leg out. So left leg out, right leg in, lifting the arms high, pointing the left toes. Take your forward fold. Again, try to keep your back straight. I'll turn to the side, on this side, so you can kind of see. I'm trying not to round like that. I'm really trying to lift my heart, lift my spine, so that I feel that stretch more in the back of my leg. Flex the foot. And now we'll release down, so you're rounding your spine more. And we'll restack all the way back up. And then we'll go ahead and take both legs out. I'll stay to the side. Could be as wide as your mat. Take the arms high and then hinge forward over both legs. And again, we do want to try to keep the spine straight. So you kind of fidget a little bit, move the glutes out of the way. Once again, instead of being here, really try to straighten out, almost like you're trying to arch your back. I'm flexing my feet for a moment, and sometimes I like to move my feet around. So you guys can play around with that at home. And we can point the toes. And just kind of allow the backs of the legs to open up. You should start to feel your body kind of release into it, even if it's just like a ½ inch or so. Couple more deep breaths in and out. Let the head be heavy and restack the spine all the way back up. We'll take our hands behind us, pointing the toes, kind of leaning back slightly, and just lift your heart up to the ceiling. My fingertips are facing away. You might feel stretch in your pecs and down the bicep, down your arms. A couple deep breaths in and out. And then we're going to roll to the back of the sit bones, bring the arms in, and just give your knees a nice hug in to counteract that. Deep breaths in and out. And we'll go ahead and come to center with our left leg in front. Let's rest our hands on our knees. Close the eyes for a minute. Find the sharpest points of the sits bones. Find even weight on them. And just become aware of any changes or any different sensations you feel in your body from after our essential mat class today. Maybe you just feel more refreshed and rejuvenated and centered. Maybe your muscles feel a little fatigued. Just become aware of it. We'll take a deep breath in together. And exhale. One more deep breath in. On your exhale, give yourself a little smile and you can open your eyes. Thank you everybody so much for joining me today. Please remember to like the video and I will see you again next Wednesday. Have a wonderful day.